It's the 3rd of January 2014 at the Ocotillo Wind Project. It's about 9:30 in the morning. Current local wind speeds are being reported around 0 miles per hour. As you can see, this project here is sited on the desert floor. It's surrounded by mountains on 3 sides. Looking out to the west here, to the east is open desert. We'll go around and take a look at the wind turbines here and see how they're performing this morning. Basically, we're talking about 112 wind turbines completely stopped due to the lack of wind.
I want to talk to you just briefly about the wind resource issue and the concerns that were raised by Mr. Pelly and others about the sufficiency of the wind resource. Mr. Pelly is not a professional meteorologist in the wind energy industry. Pattern has 5 professional meteorologists on staff full-time at Pattern. They do wind resource assessments all day, every day. That's what they do. That's what they're trained to do, and that is their profession. They have bachelor's and master's degrees, each of them, in meteorology and atmospheric science. And our team has successfully designed, studied, financed, and constructed over 25 wind energy projects across the U.S. and Canada, over 2,500 megawatts. There are several flaws with Mr. Pelly's analysis, the most fundamental of which is his reliance on wind speeds at 10 meters above the ground. There is a reason that these turbines are mounted on these tall towers. That's where the good wind is. As you get up higher, the wind shear effect, as you get higher from the ground surface, the wind speeds increase. It defies logic that a company and its lenders would invest over $500 million into a project that relies on the wind speed to generate electricity, which is our source of revenue over the life of the project. Selling electricity is where we get our operational revenue. We do get a tax credit under the Reinvestment Act that was enacted a couple of years ago to stimulate the economy. That is a one-time benefit after the project goes into operation. We need these revenues over the 30-year life of the project in order to service our debt and make a return on equity.
Looks like every one of them. This has been a very, very familiar site out here for all of the people that came out over the holidays. Wind turbines have just been pretty much just monuments in the desert here lately. Glenn Hodges had made a comment in, I believe it was the Board of Supervisor meeting, that this was a very complex site. And this was in regards to the wind resources in Ocotillo, that it was a very complex site and that they use some highly sophisticated equipment to verify, keyword verify, their wind data. This highly sophisticated equipment was known as LiDAR and SODAR.
In addition to the kind of industry standard, we've also used some very sophisticated instrumentation at this site because it's a complex site that has a lot of complexity. It's not like the Great Plains where it's just totally flat and there's no real variation. On the left there you see what's called a SODAR unit, sound detection and ranging, produced by a company called Second Wind. And this shoots SODAR waves up into the atmosphere to tell you what the wind speed is, not only at ground level but all the way up to 200 meters. And that covers the entire operating envelope of the wind turbines. The instrument on the right is a 3D LiDAR unit manufactured by Lockheed Martin. And this gives you the ability to measure in real time the wind speed across the entire project site at a 360-degree measurement from the ground up to, again, a couple of hundred meters above the ground. So our in-house meteorological team of about 5 or 6 professionals utilized this data from the 5 Met towers, from the SODAR, from the LiDAR to determine what the wind resource was in this area and what our production would be from the wind project.
And I believe it's they use sound and light to detect winds at different levels. But we never did see the data for the LiDAR and SODAR equipment that they used. It was never available in the EIS document. The only thing that was in there was the wind speed data from the MET towers. So yeah, I guess it is a very complex site. We see so many days of these wind turbines just sitting here, taking up space in our desert, monuments, whatever you want to call them. On January the 3rd, 2014, at the Ocotillo Wind Project, every wind turbine stopped on the entire project. Stay tuned.